they can. And
just on the insurance thing, or the Medicaid, because this is such a tough economic time, Blagojevich just put everybody in this position of how do you take people off health care when they may not have an alternative from work, or they may not be able to afford it otherwise. Can you realistically get that done and remove people, or would that be heartless in a sense, remove people from an insurance plan?
there are people that government must provide benefits for. And I've certainly done that with my government. I absolutely believe that that is the case. But there is also certain people who probably don't need to be on it, and maybe we can't afford to have on it right now. So I think you have to make some cuts. But it's a line drawing process like everything else. It's not, and that's one of the problems I have with the administration now is it's either or. It's black or white. Well, as we all know, it's not black or white. Most of it's gray, and that is not a reason not to make cuts, because some people maybe have to be taken off. These are difficult times, and we may not be able to afford to have everybody in that program that's been put in it the last couple of years.
Could you tell us how big your budget is in DuPage County, and have you backed any tax increases as compared to cutting services in DuPage County?
The budget in DuPage County is about $500 million. We have, from time to time, had some difficulties, and our first response, which I think should be the first response for the state, is to look for efficiencies in delivering services, and also to look for cuts. As right now, our budget, our 2009 budget, is the same as it was in 2003. We've made substantial cuts in those years in the interim, and our head count is about the same as it was in 2003. So I think we've shown that you can, through efficiencies and making cuts, balance a budget. We have substantial reserves, and in the last 10 years, we've managed to reduce our property taxes 7 out of 10 years, and we've tried to have a diverse revenue source, so that if we have difficult times, that we're prepared. If one revenue goes down, others are there.
The legislature has approved a budget that would cut spending by billions of dollars. Governor Quinn says most of that would come out of human service programs if you were to sign that budget. If you were governor, would you sign it or veto it?
You know, I'd have to look at the budget in detail, and I'm not exactly sure what is in this budget. I do agree with the legislature that now is not the time to raise taxes. There are so many families that are struggling in Illinois. It's really unfair to families in Illinois and businesses in Illinois to increase taxes, because what you'll do is you'll drive more business out, which will mean we will lose more jobs, and that will be more suffering for families. And then on top of it, the increase will go to families, and they'll have to make the difficult decisions. So I think that what has to be done, and what the governor needs to do and the legislature needs to do, is they need to really take a look at this, and they're going to have to make some very difficult decisions. There will clearly have to be some cuts that will have some negative impacts, but I think what you have to do is you have to prioritize what is important, make those decisions, and then you're going to have to make some cuts.
Do you, in general, agree with the idea of doing most of the budget cutting in the area of social service programs, or is that the wrong place to look for savings?
Well, I don't think you just focus on that particular area. As I said, the state has the duty to provide for many who can't provide for themselves. There are other areas that cuts can take place, and I think you have to look all the way across the board. I don't think you just pick out one area and say, well, this is a weak constituency and we're going to make all the cuts there. That's unfair, and that's the wrong way to do it. But this is a difficult job. These are difficult times, and this is what leadership is all about, making those difficult decisions.
Why should anybody vote for you if your answer on these issues that are facing the state right now are the same old things about review everything top to bottom, look at Medicaid eligibility, go through things with a fine-tooth comb? It's not exactly, a new kind of approach to the budget.
Well, I think if you look at the budget, it is kind of a new approach to the budget, because
it's not exactly a new talking point about the budget.
Well, I think the thing that distinguishes me is that I have done it in DuPage County. I've made those tough decisions. I'm not part of Springfield, and to come here, I think I recognize what has to be done. I recognize it's a very difficult job, and that to do those things are going to be very unpopular. But that's part of the job. I'm prepared to do that. I've done that in the past, and if elected governor, I will do it again. And that's what we need, somebody who's going to do those tough things and perhaps make some enemies in the process.
I think you've said, we talked earlier, we were anti-abortion but pro-choice, meaning, you don't want to criminalize that procedure more than it is or follow current law. Given the Republican base in Illinois, can you win a primary with basically the legal pro-choice stance?
Well, as I said, I've spent the last month and a half traveling through Illinois. We're making a big sweep right now. And the people I talk to all across this state, the primary issue that is of concern to them is the economy. It's the workability of their state government, and it's maintaining their jobs. Those are the issues that are important to conservative Republicans, to moderate Republicans, to Democrats, to independents. I think that the state is unified in their concern about the dysfunctionality in Springfield and people's concerns about their jobs. So the answer is yes. I believe, one, that I can win a primary, and I believe that I am the best candidate to be the next governor of Illinois, because I have made tough decisions. I know how to run a government, and I'm prepared to come here and make those tough decisions too.
Mr. Schillerstrom, given that the state is facing the deficit it is, whatever number you want to pick, based upon the fact that the national economy went into the toilet, and we have what is recognized as mismanagement by Governor Blagojevich, do you think that this requires a tax increase to balance the budget, even if you limited it, or do you really think that you could cut your way out of a $12 billion budget?
I think the first thing that has to be done is that the leadership in Springfield has to sit down and they have to look at the budget as it is, and they have to make some of the difficult decisions about making some cuts.
You're watching the Illinois Channel, an independent nonprofit corporation formed to provide gavel-to-gavel coverage of Illinois state government and other public affairs events taking place across Illinois. If you have any comments or questions on our programming, please email us at illinoischannel@aol.com. Or if you have any questions about the Illinois Channel, please visit our website at www.illinoischannel.org.